PTS heraldry updates, achievements and feats of strength, and a first look at crafting. These topics and more coming up on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 306. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. It is going really well.
I know, isn't it?
It's a Tuesday night. Yes. I mean, we didn't have any technical difficulties before the show or anything.
Not at all. Not even a one.
We're recording on a Tuesday night, so we just finished MFN, our guild weekly event night, and we did something different, led by the fearless B. Kavanaugh. We started the macro binoculars mission system. So that meant a lot of people going to a lot of different places and scanning things, and it was a lot of fun. We just flew around, went places. We got Terrace and Tatooine done, and then at some time in the future, maybe 2 weeks from now, we will get another couple of planets done, and eventually at the end we'll break up into groups and do the last part, which is a 4-man thing.
We got to do the first little instance that you do, which is the first of the
yes,
like,
with the
puzzles.
lasers.
Yeah.
I totally forgot how to do that too. I'm like, wait a minute, how does this work? I think it has something to do with the macro binoculars. That's all I can remember.
There's a tiny bit of that kind of puzzle play in a couple of the chapters in Coffee Kotet, but not as cleverly and not as dramatically as well, there's that one chapter in that where that party is going on. That is.
Yes, and you have to
that does a ton of it. But otherwise, I would love more of that in the game. I thought that was really cool. Even doing it again, I had forgotten how to get through this, and it's cool, it's fun, it's a puzzle. I like it. Yeah, it was fun.
I do too. It was fun to go back and revisit that. And then we all went to the guild flagship. This is on our Imperial side guild, and we opened up a room in there. Max knows which room, and that was fun too.
Yeah,
and we put down some, and then we all turned into Wookiees.
Yes, we
which
did.
Was the most fun ever.
Yes, we did.
Because someone had donated to the guild a decoration, which is basically a disguise station, and it turns you into a Wookiee. So yeah, yep. There's Max is showing a picture of us all standing in a row as looking like the exact same Wookiee.
All Wookiefied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Medulla.
So that was hilarious.
Could have been Sakic, but I think it was Medulla who donated that decoration to the guild. So
that's awesome. There. Yeah, that was really hilarious and fun.
It was. Yeah. So, you're right. So that was a lot of fun. What else did you do this week? Anything else?
I was going to say last week we did have our ops team on Thursday night. I don't remember what we did, which usually that means we did the Queen, the Hive of the Mountain Queen on Pub and Imp side, because we're still building up gear. But I feel like we did something else too.
I think we did a little Xeno Analyst on the side. But I think the Queen was the main thing that we're going after.
Yes, we did. We went and did hard mode Xeno Analyst because that was still open to us because we had done story mode earlier in the week.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that is pretty much my Star Wars week. How about you, Max?
I did those things that you did as well. And as you say, I had forgotten how interesting and fun that macro binocular puzzle parts of that are. The Seeker Droid, if we ever do that, that's somewhat less interesting, I think. But still, I think it's still worthwhile to at least do it once. The macro,
right, and it's better in a group.
Right, because then you can be hunting down those parts as a group activity.
Or somebody can.
I did. I'm still doing cleanup on characters, so I'm sort of done with the Summer of 300. I'm not going to log in now because we're finally got on the PTS. I'm just gonna stay here, but I could push any of my three remaining characters basically at a moment's notice. So it wouldn't really be a problem. I'm happy to just let them. I'll stretch it out a little bit. Maybe each of the next 3 weeks on the podcast, I'll push one a night, but won't do one tonight. So with that done, I'm looking at the rest of my characters, looking if there's anything else I need to clean up, anything else I need to get ready for 6.0 to drop, etc. As part of that, I did want to try out some things on the PTS. So I did spend some significant time on the PTS now that it's finally been back up. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that tonight, of course. But crafting was one of the things I wanted to take a little bit of a look at. I wanted to take a look at the materials interface, and get a little more experience with it. Try to figure out what I was going to need to do to just make sure I was prepared for anything I was going to want to do around crafting. I know it's not final, and they haven't put out any of the blog posts on crafting yet. So this, as I said, we're just going to take a first look. We're going to scratch the surface on what we've seen so far on crafting and comment on it. Yes, it's subject to change, but we'll speculate and criticize it relentlessly regardless. So there's that.
Because that is what we do.
That is what we do. You know what we also do is we talk about the news.
Now an Imperial News Network report.
Not very much news this week, except for a little bit of drama. Little bit of drama out there. A little bit of drama that started sort of some back channel discussions. Then it moved to the forums and it moved to Reddit. And there were some screenshots of how are stacks and stacks of black dye, like very like unlimited stacks.
Yikes.
And unlimited stacks of the big thing this week was grand chance cubes, like stacks of 500 each of grand chance cubes, and like pages and pages of them. How are these showing up on the GTN? And the speculation was, I wonder if there's some sort of exploit, because in order to buy all of those grand chance cubes with the current exchange rate and how you have to get them, and it would probably be like $80,000 worth of cartel coins, which we expected did not come from a single person. So the speculation was, I wonder if there's some sort of exploit. I wonder if there's some sort of duping bug. Magically today, the servers had to be taken offline. And the commentary here from Eric was, we're going to be bringing all the servers offline for quick maintenance. We expect them to be down for approximately 1 hour. This maintenance is to address an in-game exploit. Part of what we're doing during this maintenance, players will find that all their GTN sales have expired. Once we come back online, you'll find any GTN sales that you had waiting for your mailbox. With the exploit resolved, we'll be conducting a thorough investigation of what occurred, etc., etc. So we don't know exactly. They did say it was an exploit. We expect it's related to this because this was all the buzz this week. A little bit of a headache for some people to have all of the GTN sales to be expired and reset. A little bit of extra friction, a little bit of extra sand in Anakin's pants over this is.
I was wondering how you're going to end that sentence.
Is you did not get refunded your GTN deposit, and that might get some people a little bit heated, a little bit hot there. But I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, if you were selling stuff on the GTN, and most of the deposits are so small these days compared to the prices and values of everything else, it probably shouldn't be a problem. I still expect, in fact, I even think I saw here just in the medium immediate comments, some things like, oh, if it's going to be down for an hour, you can extend the double XP. I think double XP is over for one. Or is it? Or is it still going on? Regardless, no. Come on. It's going to be servers are down for an hour. So interesting, dramatic. I don't know exactly how the exploit worked. It wasn't really posted anywhere. It was not made public. I heard rumors that it was some really complicated thing where it potentially took multiple people working in concert to make something happen. It didn't seem very widespread because it seemed like only one account that was doing all of this selling. It wasn't like a whole bunch of them out there. So we'll see. I would love to get a breakdown from Bioware, but I expect we won't get full details. That's not the kind of thing that they're
Right.
going to want to publish full details on.
Right.
But that's sort of it for official news. We're just waiting on them getting the rest of 6.0 ready. What about guild news, Seema? Do we got anything coming up in guild news? We're not sure.
We do. We have
We
we
think
do.
we
We have
do.
August Mega coming up very soon. We think it's going to be this Friday. But yeah, we need to prepare for that too. Anyway, so it's going to be the fleet Datacron. It'll start off with the guild members putting it together, and we'll get everyone who's there through the Datacron, but then we'll open it up to the fleet. So if anybody's on the fleet that still hasn't gotten this Datacron, which there may not be many or there may be a lot, we don't know.
Right. So that is the plan. We do have a bunch of people that have recently come back to the game, and at least a few people that are new. I mean, we had people in the last few weeks saying, "Oh, what is this? Eternity Vault? I've never done this." So I bet we have people in the guild that have not done the Fleet Datacron,
Yes.
so that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Regardless, even for those of us that have done it many times, it's still an adventure. I like going and setting it up and figuring it out. I watched a video of being able to solo it on one account. You have to do multiple characters on your account, but basically being able to solo it on the Republic side, which was sort of interesting and amusing. But we'll do it on the Imperial side, and we'll set up chain pulling so we can just pull people through there. You won't have to do any you won't have to do much acrobatics to get there. You will have to walk a tightrope out on a girder, but that's about it.
There is a way around that, though. Different positioning that I can show you.
Seema's got the inside scoop, apparently. I'm looking forward.
Well, I mean, I try to bring it up every time, but it never actually penetrates.
We just ignore you and do it the hard way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like a bunch of children. Yeah, sounds about right. In greater community news, and this is still in the rumor stage as well, and I would love to get some confirmation. I believe it came up in the interview on Working Class Nerds, and I've heard it that rumors floated around the community so far. There may be a New York cantina on October 4th, October 5th, whatever that Friday or Saturday is, of the New York City Comic Con, something like that. First weekend in October, a SWTOR cantina in New York somewhere. If I find out where this is and I get it confirmed, I may try to go out there. So we'll see. We're gonna keep our ear to the grindstone on that one, and see what we can find out.
Your poor ear.
What else, Seema?
Let's see.
I'm leaving shout out to the chat room to you.
Okay, there you go.
To be clear.
As Max said, shout out to the chat room. Thanks, guys, for being here. We had a little not an audible, but audio difficulties in the beginning, so we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you every week.
Right.
So keep on keeping on being the sound and awesome people that you are.
Yeah. Either these sound issues, either something happened with the most recent Windows update, and maybe it was the update to 1903. I think it might have been an update to 1903 for me in the past week, or an update to Adobe Audition, or both. I now have weird audio glitches in my virtual audio cable and audio setup. The sound that's going to my ears and the levels is weird, and the sound is cutting out when I stop the recording. All sound coming to me is gone. If anybody knows what's going on, just shoot me a note. Shoot me a note, because this is frustrating to say the least. Yeah, on
Yeah.
podcast night to fire it up and go, all right, nothing works. But we got it going. We got it going. And we were only about 20 minutes late to get the podcast started up. So I think that will be fine. Let's pop open a brand new holocron that talks a little bit about what's new on the PTS.
Deep in the ancient, monster-infested tomb of Marka Ragnos, there is a holocron filled with dark secrets and encased in a great stone monument.
Yes, a brand new holocron encased in a stone monument that we shoot lightning at.
I was gonna say how can we get it?
Right. It's a mystery on how to open it. I have no idea, and no sorcerer in the history of the Galactic Empire has figured it out, except me when I shot lightning at it because I was frustrated. Yeah, and all we've found out so far, I'll pull some of it up. I played with some of it. What I'm interested in, what I'm trying to figure out is where's crafting at number one. That's something I'm trying to dig into. They haven't put together, as we mentioned, they haven't put out the full blog post, which they are planning on doing, which is going to describe where crafting is going and what's up with it. They haven't described all of what's possible within crafting, but some of the things are in there, and that's what we're gonna take a look at. So this is all live on the PTS. Yes, Galahard, I guess this is spoilers, but it's not like a story spoiler. And to be clear, this is all certainly subject to change, especially after we rant about it right now. And they go, oh, Max is right. We should change this, which they won't.
That's totally gonna happen. That's totally how things get
That happens.
come about.
But before we do that, we are finally on the PTS. I did want to show off visually and talk about it now that I can actually see it with my eyeballs live. A couple of the things that we have on the PTS, like, here's my armor set, see? I got those big old handles coming out of the back. If I could saw those off, if I could cut those handles off, I would kind of like this armor set. I think it'd be okay.
I like it because it's got a certain simplicity to it and yet has detail also.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm sort of zooming out a little bit and moving around, it kind of looks like polka dots. If I can dye just the dots, like pink or something, then maybe this is the best armor ever. I don't know. And
maybe that's where the secondary dye would go.
We
have to find out.
We'll have to try that. And you, Seema, are wearing one of the new armor sets as well, are you not?
I am, and that's why I have a little tiny suction cup on my face.
Yes, so we have to pick the things that we are not fond of with these armor sets. It is the handlebars coming out of my back. I can't lay down. I can't do a somersault. It's problematic. And Seema's got a big plunger coming out of her.
Yeah, a funnel.
Head.
A funnel. It's a repeating detail too, because I have funnels on my shoulders as well. So there is that.
Yeah, those are sort of rain catchers, I think. So you can walk through a rainstorm and they'll fill up, and then you can just take a little drink, right? But the one on your head, yeah, I'm not too sure about that one either. Why would you need that big radar dish come out of your forehead? That's just crazy. But otherwise, I'm glad to see, and you can walk around here and you can go to the vendors. You can get each of these gear sets and you can check them out. They're kind of cool things. That's not these. These guys aren't wearing them, which they usually do. No, you'll have to pull them off of the vendors and try them on and check them out that way. Couple other things while we're out here. This is the console that you click on to get leveled up, to get a bunch of credits, and as soon as you come here now, you get leveled up. They put in some bug fixes in the PTS recently, so as you create new characters, it wasn't allowing you to create a legacy properly. It now allows you to do that, and it wasn't allocating the right number of companions to you. I think it only gave you your ship droid back. Now it's giving you 8 companions back, it looks like. Yeah. So you get 8 companions when you come here now, working a little bit better. Couple tricks. If you'd like to level up your companions, remember this level booster, every time you click on it, you get another 10 million credits. Then you can go right around the corner into the cantina here. And there's a vendor right on the inside of the doorway on Odessan. And the vendor right as you go into the cantina area on the right is called the Smuggled Supplies vendor. His name is Silas Fleetfire. Wow, that's kind of a cool name.
Have a look at what's available.
They're 250,000 credits each, but it's the grade 6, the rank 6 companion gifts. So I can pop here, I can get a rank 6 technology gift here and give that to my little T7 droid here, and he'll be real happy. So there's that. There. And so I put a couple ranks on my companion. If you want to be testing out how it feels to have the companions with you as you're doing some of the content, especially the leveled up content. As I said, I was doing Master Mode Black Talon with a level 1 companion and ended up having some trouble. I didn't try all that long, but I failed twice on the second of 4 fights in there, where it's the healer and the 3 other DPS. That's a crew of 4 that you have to fight, that boss fight. I was getting killed by the time I was killing the healer from the other 3. But if I had a level 50 companion, I might even be able to get through that. And then if I'm clearing Master Mode flashpoints, even if it's just Black Talon, then that's my feedback to them that they probably want to crank up the difficulty dial just a little bit, because I don't think you should be able to solo those myself.
But you are Max.
But I am Max the Gray. This is true. The other thing which I wanted to show off is these tooltips. If you look here, remember the amplifiers aren't implemented, but you can see them. Here I'm hovering over in my inventory here. I have one of each of the helmets from each of the sets, because I wanted to be able to see the set bonuses and compare them back and forth. And then I was able to shuffle them around, and I was able to show, hey, these 4 set bonuses, they suck. And these 2 are okay, and this one's sort of in the middle. But if you look at the tooltips, it's the next gen of the tooltips, which is kind of nice. And on this next gen tooltip, you can also see that you get amplifiers, and there's an amplifier on the shell and on each of the mods. With that amount of amplifiers and being able to switch mods in and out and additional augments, it seems like it's going to be interesting balance challenge to say, hey, now there's all of these ways, these weird set bonuses, these new abilities, these new tacticals, and now all of these amplifiers are going to balance stats in weird ways. That seems like an interesting balance challenge from my perspective. There's a note in the chat room, so why don't I mention that? I don't know if you saw any details on this, but I also saw on the fleet, and I saw somewhere else a rumor. Maybe it was on Twitter. So I don't think it's confirmed, but I did also see that yes, the HK55 chapter was coming back. A rumor that it is coming back. That somebody heard from somewhere that it's coming back. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen it. Here, let me double check the Cartel Market here. Cartel Market is currently unavailable, so it's, I don't know where people are getting that information, but that's been something that we've been asking about, and Bioware even recently in the past couple months has said they would look for a way to potentially do that. It might be something that you could maybe purchase, and I think that was going to be the target direction that they were looking to go. The chat room is saying look in collections, armor, weapons. Where would I look? Companions. Promotional items, companions. Where are you saying I should be looking? Toys, tunings, flare, mounts, emotes, companion, promotional items, events. So Promotional items. I don't know. So keep an eye out for it. I don't see it offhand, but that's not to say that it might not come out, especially since they were looking for a way to do it. Anything else here on Odessen before we go to the fleet, Seema?
I don't think so. I think we're ready for the fleet.
Here's those training dummies that I was mentioning. They have it as a set of. They have an operations dummy and then just the combat training dummy, which is I think is designed more at the flashpoint level. But you also can get a sense of cleaves and AOE as you're fighting all three of these next to each other, which I think is kind of interesting. Great. Let's go to the fleet because there's some. Wait, was there anything else? Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you here. Okay, so you hit I on the tab on the left, and your inventory interface is the materials inventory. So the materials inventory pops up. It's an extra window. They haven't finished the graphics of this part of the interface. They haven't finished it at all. So at least not in the version of the game that's on the PTS. So if you look at it, though, it's broken up by categories. So I have archaeology and bioanalysis and diplomacy and investigation. I have miscellaneous, which is the dark matter accelerant, which is exotic crafting material from missions. Supplements, which are all the white mats that you buy off of the fleet. There's a sort button that doesn't work up here, and there's a filter, so you can search through it. So right above that, though, is the new deconstruction window. So the deconstruction window isn't working exactly as I had expected. What I thought was the case was you would be able to deconstruct anything, and maybe it's just not implemented yet, but I believe their intent was you can deconstruct anything, but if you have the corresponding crew skill, I can't even buy these ones. If you have the corresponding crew skill, then you get a slightly different set of materials when you deconstruct it, and not just the chuck bucks, if you remember those from the
live stream.
From the live stream. But if you go here to the mercenary equipment vendor, you buy some equipment, you can put this stuff into the deconstruct window. So when you click on it in your inventory, it adds it to the deconstruct window. You can add currently you can add up to 15 things in the deconstruct window. You hit deconstruct. 3, 2, 1, it counts down. And then bang, it gives you a list of what it gave you, what it deconstructed into. And if you see here, everything deconstructed into... Oh, none of these gave me any of the... Wonder if they took that out. So these all gave me the Jawa scrap, the droid parts, scavenge scrap, and Jawa junk. None of these gave me the currency. But I was getting the currency before. So let's take a look at that. War commendation is currently what the currency is called. War commendations are the currency that you'll be able to take to 2 different vendors. One is a vendor that will be in a permanent location. The other is a vendor that will be elusive, is the way they phrased it in the dev stream, right? I don't know how elusive or where that's going to show up, but it will have a differing set or alternating set or harder to get tacticals and gear potentially. Your war commendations are the currency that you're going to be using to spend it to get that stuff. So if you want to play with that now, you can get these, as you can see here in my inventory, you can get stacks of the Jawa junk, and you can get those war commendations, although you can't do anything with the war commendations yet. When we get to the fleet, though, I will show you a couple things. Chat room is saying Jawa junk from armor pieces. That's pretty nice. You would think that it's nice, but let's take a little trip to the take a little trip to the Cartel
Before
Bazaar.
You do that, I want to say,
yeah,
I do see the HK chapter in collections.
Oh, you do? Where are you seeing it in collections?
I just, like they said in the chat room, I just left it on all and then went to the very end and backspaced one page.
Okay. I'll leave it on all.
And
I'll go to the very end and backspace one page and access authorization shroud of memory. Wow, look at that.
yeah, and the tooltip actually says, well, it requires access to Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion, and on the logo it says exclusive expansion content. But if you go show items, the tooltip on the actual item says grants your character access to the episode Shroud of Memory and the Alliance Alert Armor Rasa. So
Okay.
that's cool. I like it. I cannot tell you how much it's going to cost though, because that is not on there.
$1
In collection.
million. Okay.
$1 million.
So my plan that was really complicated was I was going to level up Armor Mech to test it out from level 1 to all the way to level 600 so I could start testing the Onslaught levels, which are from 600 to 700 in Armor Mech. I was going to get all of this scavenged scrap and droid parts and Jawa junk, and I was going to go to the Cartel Bazaar, and I was going to get a bunch of materials, and I could have done that, and that actually wouldn't have been, I figure it was going to take me probably about an hour, maybe even less, half hour. Get all of the Jawa junk, do a whole bunch of reverse disassembly on the Onslaught armor, get all that Jawa junk, buy materials so I wouldn't have to go out and farm the stuff, level up my crafting skill. However, that's when I noticed when I came back to get more credits that if you train any of these skills on the fleet, so here I picked Armor Mech, Archaeology, and Scavenging. If you pick any of those skills up on the fleet and then come back to this terminal that you click on to get your 10 million credits, as soon as you click on it, any skills that you have automatically go up to 600. They don't go to 700, but they go to 600.
So why were you after another 10 million credits? Just curious. Asking for a friend.
I was possibly going to spend a bunch of credits to level up at least some level of influence on a bunch of the companions.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
yeah.
I was going to I was going to have to craft my way up. You know, I'm just going to craft unassembled components, but craft my way up to 600. Right. So I want them to go faster. That's why I was going to do it. So I was going to spend, hundreds of millions of credits on those tier 6 gifts. That's why I had a whole strat planned out, but then I came back and I clicked and I was like, woohoo. And then I thought, well, now I'll just go right to 700. And as you can see here in my interface, I'm at 604 of 700 and I rage quit after that, which was one item. Here, look at my inventory. I have one premium Duranium armor assembly component. So let's take a little journey to the fleet. And we'll look at why I rage quit my journey to 700. So here I am traveling to the fleet. Oh, how are you feeling about not having any of your legacy unlocks on the PTS?
Oh my gosh.
Seema?
I know. It's yeah.
I can't.
Not for long though, because we'll be able to copy characters, I think, soon.
Right. That's the plan. They needed all of the armor in, and they needed their ability to convert all of the armor to the new style. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. So we'll see how that works.
I mean, I was able to create my legacy and I got all excited because I thought, oh, I can get the credits to buy whatever I want. But no, you have to be like legacy level 8 to get the thing where you mount without having to stop. And even though I don't think it would take that long to do it, it's, like for a moment I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll just go work on that. And I'm like, wait, no, stop. Don't do that. This character is going to get wiped.
Right. I couldn't even get Legacy of Altruism, which is more companion influence for giving them a gift, and Legacy of Promptness, which is faster giving them gifts. Rank 2 of each of those, or rank 1 of each of those, you have to have Legacy level 2, Legacy level 5, Legacy level 8 for the third level. I can't unlock a single thing on this whole Legacy level page. So, yeah. Chat room is making the point, Galahard made the point there, that it is a bit of a difference that in this expansion, crafting now goes up 100 points instead of just 50. It has been going up 50 per expansion. this is going to be one of the things that we're going to take a look at here as we go to the fleet and look at what's on the vendors and look at what I've been able to train so far and craft so far. It seems like they have made crafting from 600 to 700 much more complicated than any of the previous tiers. So we'll see some of that as we go forward. So here was my plan to go up from 600 to 700. I said, well, fine. I will go to my premium materials scrap peddler in the Cartel Bazaar, and I'll turn in a bunch of this scavenge scrap items because it's basically unlimited. I could just keep disassembling, and I disassembled and I got like a stack of 1,000. And I came here and I said, okay, well, lay it on me. Give me some of those hot tier grade 11
sweet
metals.
bats.
Metals for my armor mech. 200 scrap per metal. And then I was like, oh wow, so 200 for one duranium plating and 200 for one, what's the other metal? Temper steel. Premium temper steel, premium duranium plating.
So
and
those
premium
those
temper
metals
steel.
must really, you probably only need one then to make something.
The most, yeah. So, well, right. So if I just need one of each to make my unassembled component, that would be fine then too, wouldn't it? No, but to add insult to injury, unassembled component, premium duranium armor assembly component, 10 of each.
So 20. Oh my gosh.
So that's 4,000 scavenge scrap to make one unassembly component. So there, I reverse engineered enough to get I ended up with like 5,000 scavenge scrapped, bought 10 of my temper steel, 10 of my duranium plating. I made one armor assembly component. I got 4 levels, so I went from 600 to 604 off of making just the one, and then I rage quit.
So, subject to change, I'm sure.
Right. Potentially. I don't know.
Potentially. It might be what they want.
It might,
but
they might want
it is subject to change.
I could see them wanting at least temporarily to devalue being able to come to these scrap peddlers with a stack of 999, 4 9s of scavenge scrap and be able to just get a ton of grade 11 materials.
Yeah. And just finish off the skilling up from 600 to 700 on day one.
Right. So maybe I wouldn't mind then if it's 200 temporarily for the first couple months and then they drop it back down. That seems like it would be reasonable. I would prefer them not to keep it 200 forever. But they probably also have looked in people's inventory and they probably have seen stacks of multiple stacks of 10,000 in people's inventory and go, well,
wait,
I don't know.
What do you mean they look in my inventory? That's my private inventory.
Well, they can search your inventory, Seema. You can't search.
I can't.
Now, there's a shower thought for you. They can search your inventory, but you cannot. That hurts a little bit, doesn't it? All right.
When I was looking for my armor earlier today and I couldn't find it, I was literally, I said this before, I think, but I was thinking, I'm going to put in a ticket and say, can you please find this for me?
Right.
Because I know you can.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And plus, you won't implement that feature, then you do the work.
Right. Right.
Okay, where are you, Seema?
That is.
You need to come here.
Oh,
on
I'm
the
still in
fleet.
Odessa. Okay.
You need to get on over here because there's something else we got to show you.
But that is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the new legacy storage for materials, because that'll free up space in my. Be quiet, Alexa. That will free up space in my cargo hold so that I can always put, some things back in the same place instead of
right.
Whatever it was I was doing with it. Okay, I'm coming to the fleet.
Like, didn't you lose something earlier today?
Yeah, my experience gear. I couldn't remember which character I had last used. I mean, I thought I remembered, but I was wrong. And when it wasn't on that character, then I was like, now I don't know where to look.
Right.
So I just started logging in each character one by one. Oh, my goodness.
I'm only using
So
up 2 tabs of my legacy storage for materials, but then I'll get, 2 full tabs that will be freed up and emptied out, which will be nice. While we're passing by here and heading on to the stronghold and crew skills quarter of the fleet, and Seema is on her way down here, I wanted to show off as we were walking by. Look at this. It's a speeder bike for rapid transit across the fleet quarters. So there's a guy here standing right next to it that's titled Imperial Fleet Taxi. He doesn't actually do anything. You don't click on him. You click on the speeder so far. And there's another incomplete, unfinished user interface for each of the 4 quadrants of the fleet. You click on one of the quadrants, like this. I'm on the 3rd one down, and there was a patch note that they, in theory, sped this up from their initial implementation, but it pops you over to whatever quarter you're trying to go to. So I don't know.
it's kind of interesting that given that they decided to implement something like this, that they made it speeder travel instead of just quick travel. I literally think it's interesting because, well, it's a little bit more. It sort of reminds me of the ride back in Eternity Vault when you wipe, as opposed to just going to black and then
Yeah.
teleporting someplace. Yeah.
So it is kind of fun to see the fleet. But here I'm looking at, I wonder what the speed difference is for here, me being in the stronghold and crew skills and trying to get over all the way across 180 degrees around the fleet, the supplies, to ride that speeder around, around the around the fleet and around the outside, versus do my emergency fleet pass to the middle and take my own speeder the rest of the way. I wonder if it's very much of a speed savings at all.
I don't know.
I bet it
but
is somewhat of a speed
I do
savings,
know that it's not the speeders don't show up on the map. That's why I was looking for them earlier. Was on the map.
Yes, they do not yet show up on the map. I wonder if there will be a. See, there's quick travel point. Yeah, they do not show up. There's a taxi button, but there's not. They don't show up under taxi. But here we are on the fleet in the Stronghold and Crew Skills quarter, and if you go and talk to the trainers, you can see a little bit of some of the recipes that are, at least so far, that they're saying you can make. One of the things I found interesting, as I was saying, them making things more complicated from 600 to 700, if you look at assembly components, for each of the tiers of assembly components. Oh wait, did I already train them? I think I might have already trained them. For each of the tiers leading up to this, there was one assembly component. Or am I thinking of the flux? Yeah, no, I guess I'm still only seeing one assembly component for each of the tiers. A fused plasteel, OSIN, and then I've got the drain. No, so I have 2 assembly components. That's what it is. I have the premium Duranium armor assembly component, and I have a new kind of assembly component that we haven't seen in any of the previous grades, which is called the premium Fibrolite armor processor. Okay, so that's interesting. And this is taking premium Fibrolite and a premium data spike. I believe premium data spike is a slicing material, and I believe Fibrolite is an investigation material, whereas the Duranium armor assembly component are 2 scavenging metals. The other thing I thought that was interesting is, instead of just one of the white materials, you know how you have the different kinds of flux and that kind of thing that we've had every grade, you get one new material for each of the crafting the gathering professions. Basically, there's 3 for grade 11.
Everything you see is for sale.
So if I go down here to grade 11, I have standard flerovium. Yeah, standard flerovium flux. I have premium Flerovian flux, and I have prototype Flerovian flux. So a white material, a green material, and a blue material. So again, now instead of just one grade, one next grade of materials, so then 3, one for each of the gathering professions, we have 9. So 2 kinds of assembly components, 9 kinds of materials, three tiers of these what were the white materials. Things are getting a little bit complicated. So that's one thing I noticed. I'm not sure what they're going for in that, but I don't mind. I don't mind things being a little bit more complicated if that's going to add interest and make things
Right.
interesting. If it's just going to make things complicated for no apparent reason, then that's not as great. The other thing I noticed is what can I craft? On the trainer, there aren't a lot of things that you can train at 600 to 700, so I expect that we're going to need to discover or reverse engineer a bunch of the materials as well, a bunch of the schematics as well. They do have some of the new augments, so I think I trained those up. Let's go to my no, where's my new augments? There's the 238s. So I don't see the augments on here. I know there are 2 tiers of augments. You can get them from the vendors up on Odesson, but I don't see the augment schematics on the trainer. Do I have this set to all? Maybe I didn't have it set to all. Go back. Oh, that's what it was, because I thought I saw them here. So one of the tiers is on here. So the Absorb Augment 73 and the Alacrity Augment 73, but they're the blue ones. I imagine you probably can create the blue one and then reverse engineer it to get the purple one, or gold. I don't know, because at 600 the 46s they're the gold tier. We'll have to see exactly how that works. And there's an MK11 augmentation kit. That's fine. Okay. The other thing that you can train up on the vendor is, so I'm an armor mech. So yeah, here there is. I didn't have have it set to all. It is 6 on assembly components. So instead of 1 for each of the grades was what you had in the past. You had a grade 1 on assembly component, grade 2, grade 3. For grade 11, you have 6. It is 6, not just the 2. So it's the 2 at the green tier, 2 at the premium tier, the green. Prototype is the blue tier, 2 at the prototype, and 2 at the purple type, which is the artifact tier. So this is getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
So 6 unassembly components, 6 of the new white materials. So they're probably the green materials, the blue materials, and the purple materials. They probably correspond to these tiers. So that's all getting complicated.
Right. I wonder if they're like I can't tell, but are they very expensive? Because I wonder if that's taking the place of mats that used to be rare in other ways, rather than just being expensive. They were rare because they dropped in ops or came from conquest or.
Well, I can't train them, so I can't see what it takes to make them.
Yeah.
But because I'm using temper steel and duranium for the lower level one, I bet these mid-tier and higher level ones are probably going to be using crew mission materials that are much more difficult to get. So maybe you're right. Maybe that'll be used to make the higher level stuff, and maybe they'll stop doing the exotic materials. No, they're probably still going to throw those in too.
Yeah, I'm guessing they will.
Now, the only other things that you can make, so the only other 600 to 700 actual armor or mod or anything that they're putting on here. So armor mech can make armorings. They give you one armoring, which is the 274 resistive armoring, which is only requires skill level 600. So you can make that. So fine. In fact, I could train that one. What does it take to make that? It takes So for one 274 armoring, one green 274 armoring, which is going to be useful, about as useful as green gear dropping from missions. It's going to take 20 refined isotope stabilizers, tier 3 exotic crafting materials, 20 solid resource matrix. So both of those things look new. The icons are new. 20 solid resource matrix, tier 3 exotic crafting material, two premium duranium armor assembly components, and 2 premium fibrolite armor processors. So basically probably like 100,000, maybe 500,000 credits worth of materials to make one stupid 274, which isn't even the highest tier. Look at my gear here. I'm using 306 armor. So this is one crappy 274 armoring that takes all of this crap to craft it. That's insane. So this is getting a little crazy. I don't know what they're going for there. For one. For two, and it gets even worse for this next one, what else can I make? Well, I can make an armor set. I can make a 268 green armor set that again, it's going to be useful. It's going to be not at all useful. Let's just put it that way. I don't even have a euphemism for it. Not useful. It's not going to be useful. Considering each of the professions can make mods that are higher than 268. If I can make a 274 armoring, why am I going to make a stupid 268 piece of green gear and not use the shells with the set bonuses on them or anything like that? I'll just go get Odessan gear, or I'll just 268. Who cares about 268 while I'm leveling up? This is clearly low-level gear. Why? Who would ever make
Why
this?
is it so hard to make?
Unless you want to make it as a cosmetic set. So let's even grab here. We'll grab this Warforged set, and let's see what it takes to make it. Shall we, Seema?
Yes. Let's.
I'm not even going to train it all because it'll just make me angry. Here's your Warforged Mender headgear.
Subject to change. Maybe these are placeholder numbers.
Oh, so all of this. Okay,
it's gonna change.
It would be cheaper to make the whole set. It would still only be your stupid 268 piece, but it costs all of those same materials as it costs to make that resistive armoring that I mentioned. No, a little bit more. A little bit more of the assembly component and armor processor. So 2 armor processors instead of 1, and 5 assembly components instead of 2. But the 20 refined isotope stabilizers and the 20 solid resource matrix are still there. So yeah, maybe it's subject to change. Maybe it's not. If it's not, this is crazy. I don't know who's going to care about this 268 armor ever. The armor set for cosmetics, maybe 1% of people or 0.5% are going to be interested in this for their heavy armor wearing characters. It's adaptive, I guess anybody could put it on, but it's not that great a set. I mean, it's not bad. I didn't mind the look, but it's nothing all that interesting. But I don't know who would bother to make this. And then same thing, you go over to Armor Tech. I don't know who would bother to make any of the weapons on Armor Tech, because you make the weapon, it's a 268 weapon, or I could make a 274 barrel. Why wouldn't I just make a 274 barrel and use the 256 mods that I currently have, 258 or whatever I have currently in there now, or 252, but with a 274 barrel. I would not make a green 268 weapon. So yeah. So we'll see.
Maybe that's kind of true now, right? Like you wouldn't make a green weapon to equip.
No, I guess you really wouldn't. I don't know who would, but you can still. But it's not even. I think there are at least some weapons that are purple tier of the grade 9. Or grade 10 or whatever, that are reasonable. I think they were. I think you can make like 230 or 236 weapons for not that expensive. So before we were getting
Right.
252 weapons from
But you can also
OSIS.
buy 230 barrel mod
Right.
for also not expensive at all.
Right.
So it's kind of the same.
Yeah. But if you're going to put something as junky as this 268 green stuff on here, why would you make it so expensive to make in
Yeah,
materials?
that's the maybe they're yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
would
got
be
no
interested in
set
the answer to
bonus.
that.
It doesn't look like it's even got any space for amplifiers. It's a big bag of nothing. Okay. So as we said, this is just scratching the surface. This could all be preliminary, could all be placeholders. If it's not, we'll be writing some strongly worded letters to the editor. But if they are gonna mess around with it, they will have a blog post up for us, and hopefully we'll be able to break it down from there.
Yes.
Two other quick things before we wrap up here. We weren't able to get a guild together here tonight. We meant to grab people after our mandatory fun night to take a look. The only thing I wanted to see, which I think I got this from Volk, is Guild Heraldry had a bunch of new icons, 49 new icons added in, supposedly. So somebody put together this nice screenshot which stitched them all together. If you were looking for a little bit more variety in the kind of icons that you were able to put together in your Guild Heraldry interface, here's some more options. I don't see anything that looks any more like our guild logo here on this page, and I kind of looked for it. I was sort of hoping for it. Why don't somebody's got to send? Did Marcus say he was going to be sending our guild logo around, trying to get the devs to insert it somewhere? But if we found something that was a little closer, then this is the one we're using right now, the little triangle with the colors from our guild, because it kind of looks like the edge-on view of our guild logo. But if something new pops up, maybe we'll take advantage of that. That was one thing I wanted to show off. And then the other thing I just wanted to reference, because it's going to be interesting in phase 2 of the PTS, is the things that we'll be able to do on the PTS, which will give us achievements. One of two, I think there's going to be 2 achievements. Here's a Reddit post talking about what we're expecting and what it was in the past. What you were able to do in the past was you were able to get an achievement for logging into the PTS, which back when they were doing it, we all got that. The second thing you did in the past was you had to do 5 bits of group content. So like 5 war zones or 5 GSF or 5 operations or 5 flashpoints or 5 uprisings. So it sounds like they're planning on something like that in the phase 2 of the PTS, which should be coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. You might need to group up with some friends if you want those achievements. And then the last thing related to achievements was Zamzam put together a post which talks about feats of strength. And if you aren't familiar with that, that came up in the stream, right, Seema? In the dev, one of the dev streams.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking through this. So the one that we're going after, of course, is the Summer of 300. That's all of these. Upper echelon is for getting command rank 300 on one character. Then you get commanding blah for each of the 8 possible classes, commanding agent, commanding inquisitor. And if you get all 8 classes to 300, you get resolute commander. So you're almost up to resolute commander. I've got 3 characters to go.
I have 2 left to go. Yeah.
So that's what our Summer 300 was designed for. DVL, where are you at on DVL? You did legendary on DVL, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I did the whole taco.
The whole taco. Nightmare, Master Mode Eternity Vault, and Master Mode Karaga's Palace. They're not obtainable today, so this isn't something you would be able to do now. I think they were attainable at one point. I don't know if we got this, though. I think we might not have back in the day. Maybe. Do you remember if back when we were
Yeah,
progressioning?
we did. I'm pretty sure we did Nightmare, EV and KP.
Maybe we did. And then the only other one that I saw that's going away. So I think Play to Give. I think we all got that because this was you needed to do some bit of group content during that Play to Give period. Delphi says these are currently available to get on live servers. I don't know how that would be possible.
Zamzam.
Oh, sorry,
I,
Zamzam.
I,
Sorry, Zamzam.
I don't think it is possible. I think it might be just like it's flagged that it's still available, but it's not. There's no way to actually do it, but it just hasn't been flagged unavailable.
So I don't think you can for these two, Public Activist and Play to Give. But I think this one, Eye for an Eye, you might be able to, which is, and I don't know if I've done this, it would have been random if I had, delivered 10 killing blows and defeated 10 and been defeated 10 times. So basically 10 killing blows means you killed people with the last hit on the person, and you also got killed 10 times within one Warzone match. That's an interesting achievement.
Yeah.
You sort of need to I think you would need to try hard, because if you're the kind of person that's going to be delivering 10 killing blows in a match, you're probably not going to be dying 10 times. You'd almost need to get your 10 killing blows in and then go like run headfirst into the other team for over and over and over before, and try to get,
if there was even time left
right.
to die 10 times.
Right. So that I think that would be a tough one. I'm going to have to check whether I got that one or not. I wonder, this would be a little bit of cheating. I wonder if this is possible in a custom PvP challenge mode match. That would be interesting to play with and discover, but it might be kind of cheating-ish.
Kind of cheaty.
Kind of cheating, for it's not in the spirit, but also it's going to be retired and not available and turn into a feat of strength, and nobody's going to be able to ever get it again anyway. So there's that. Okay, so a little bit more fun on the PTS this week. We were able to walk through and see some of the stuff in person. I am interested in keeping an eye on what they're going to be doing with this crafting stuff. I'm not all that happy with the state of it. I expect that they're going to be moving things towards a more complicated model, and I hope with that complication comes fun. I'll have to create a more complicated spreadsheet to determine what I can make and what it's worth it to make, and all of that kind of thing. And some of that can be fun, but if it's just a big headache, then that's not all that fun. And I hope we can make interesting things. And 268 green non-moddable armor is not interesting. So there's that. How about you, Seema? Any other wrap-up comments for where things are at with the PTS right now?
Well, I just want to echo what Zen was just asking. He's like, why is that Eye for an Eye achievement even becoming a feat of strength? There must be a reason.
Yeah, I don't know, unless it is the reason that I'm describing, which is you can game the system and get that by getting your in a custom PvP match. There are a few things that you can do in those custom PvP matches which are sort of against the spirit of what they're trying to make happen. That I know they've said.
Well, I mean, there's got to be more than
exploit,
one.
But that's not really what they intended for that to be used for.
There has to be more than one PvP achievement that you could do more easily.
True.
That way.
True. I bet you there's. Yeah. I bet you there is. I bet you there's.
I wonder if it's something that it doesn't work that well, and so rather than fix it, maybe they don't want to fix it. They'd rather just retire it.
Yep.
Or
right.
Maybe they realize that giving out awards for getting the killing blow is not incenting the kind of behavior that,
or
the the collaborative PvP team behavior that leads to victories.
Or the other side. So maybe the killing blow part is fine because that's at least contributing to to your team, but the deaths. Because as I
The
said,
dying part, yeah.
if I'm some elite player and I can get those 10 killing blows, I'm probably not dying 10 times, and then I'm just going to go suicide myself 10 times. That's not helping the team.
Right. Good point.
Okay, final wrap up because I saw that Marcus just joined the chat room, so maybe we can get a confirmation if it's possible. Marcus, is Mega this Friday, the 23rd? 23rd? Yeah, Friday the 23rd. Is that our next Mega, which we're doing the Fleet Datacron? We were confused about the date. We speculated that it's coming up this Friday, and we wanted to announce it, but we were hoping we could grab you and get a confirmation. So we'll give Marcus here just a sec to confirm. And then the only other thing I saw is I did hear, and Zen here is saying in the chat room too, he may be trying to go to that New York cantina. That would be brilliant. If Zen's going, then I'm definitely in. I was leaning very heavily in that direction anyway. I'll do whatever I can to try to be there. So yeah, let's do it, Zen. I'll meet you there. And Marcus says yes, it's the 23rd. So this Friday, by the time you hear this podcast, be warming up your feet to get on over to the fleet and be ready to get pulled up to the Fleet Datacron if you don't have it yet, or just come join us as we have a party over there and hang out. We're going to broadcast this a bit on Twitter. We're going to make sure everybody on the fleet hears about it that night. We're going to be doing some fun stuff to anybody who wants it, anyone on Starforge, our server, that wants to get in on getting pulled to that. If you don't have it, then we'll get that done for you. And with that, Seema, I think we're ready to wrap up the podcast for tonight.
Yes, I think we are. Let's do it.
Okay, so we are now going to kick EPC 306 out an airlock to broadcast this podcast to all of you. Please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people that should be playing with us, tell them to come check us out. They can find us on Starforge. They can find us on AIE-guild.org. On our guild website there, they can get a link to our guild Discord. They can jump in Discord, and they can get down into our SWTOR channel and say, hey, officers, hey, anyone who's around, I want an invite because AIE sounds awesome, and I want to come play with you guys. We would love for that to happen. And with that, we'll talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.